We came for a drive on an autumn day kind of like this, and we really got struck by the romance of it. So we packed up our things from the city and shifted out here. We've lived out here for 12 years in the Dandenong Ranges, which are about 1 hour east of Melbourne. I live in a tiny village which is surrounded by beautiful, cool, temperate rainforest. Up here I feel like I can just have that space to be roaming a bit more mentally. I think of my garden like a painting that's alive, but also like a living sculpture. So it's a space that I can move into in a way that I might like to be able to move into a painting. I wanted to try and bring elements of that into the painting to sort of see what would happen. And it really grew from there. Within the Garden Autumn painting too was painted in my former studio, which is in the house. It's a tiny little corner room. When I began this painting, I went into my studio and it was high autumn. Outside the window were these big chestnut trees, a wisteria that had turned to yellow, and the way that the sun shone from those and reflected straight into my studio, the whole space was glowing yellow. I just felt like, oh, I just wanted to be amongst that. I guess that I took some of those emotions and that real sort of pleasure of life and looking and being engaged with my surroundings and put that into the work. Painting helps me experience life more vividly, and that's why I don't mind that it's completely abstract. You wouldn't know that it was a garden because it's really about that sort of bodily resonance that I get from it as I would from the garden. And then I think in a way, the painting is kind of the size of the window itself, so it almost felt like a window that I could look into those sort of past memories of the experience of making it. It felt really beautiful to see it there glowing into the space as well. I feel at home when I'm painting. I painted my first canvas when I was maybe 5 years old, and I never stopped, and really encouraged by my family as well, especially my mum. She stretched me some canvases, when I was really young, and I painted some landscapes on those. And when we went on holidays, we would always just go out to the bush for sort of months on end, and I would just take bags of art materials, really. I usually carry a sketchbook with me, so I am really regularly drawing, doing watercolours, so I've got kind of collections in the house of sketchbooks that have gone over years at a time. When I was 16, my dad went to the MCA and he brought me back this pencil. I still draw with it, I love it. I look back to when he bought me this pencil and I felt full of inspiration and hope for, hopefully an art career in the future. And then to have a work in the collection and then still have my little pencil, it really means a lot. When I walked into the intelligence of painting at the MCA and I saw my work, I felt so honoured to be hanging in that space. I have that memory of the garden and of that physical emotional response. So I hope that when viewers see this work, that they might feel maybe a similar sort of sense that I felt when I was looking out of my window, that sense of excitement, of that exuberance whilst looking at it, it's big and it can envelop you with those colours and those forms, the way that a garden can envelop you when you walk into it.